Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in and welcome to the first episode of the Mindfruit podcast. I'm Carl.
I'm Fran, and we have named this podcast Mindfruit because we aim to provide you with the fruit to fuel a healthy mind. Now when we say fruit, we're not going to be talking about watermelon and oranges. The term fruit to us means the knowledge, the tools and strategies to help you improve or maintain your health and well-being, aka the mind.
We started this podcast because in our own lives, we care a lot about our own being and how we need to look after ourselves as number one.
Unless you have kids, then it's questionable.
Especially in these difficult and trying times, we need to be kind to ourselves and learn more about our own body and mind to ensure we fuel it with the right fruit.
All information discussed on this podcast is researched and evidence-based. However, everything discussed is ultimately the opinions of the Mindfruit podcast.
My name's Carl, and I break stuff all the time. I'm the meaning of dyspraxia. I don't know how I made it through, but I'm a mental health nurse now. I've been practicing for almost 2 years, although my whole career has been in healthcare for over a decade. I've worked with adults and the elderly, as well as younger people. I've always had an interest in making a difference in people's lives. I play bass and acoustic guitar, I write and record songs, I'm in 2 bands, I'm mad about fitness and spicy food. My job at the moment is in dementia care, and I work on a temporary basis in adult acute mental health inpatient settings. My job consists of working through ways to optimise people's mental health, living well with dementia, replicating their own life as much as you can, taking into account their own desires, wants, dreams, interests, likes and dislikes. Throughout my life, I've realised that people know themselves, so there's no need to preach about doing things that they wouldn't normally do. You know what will work for you, don't you? So, some people might need a bit more guidance and a helping hand in how to do it. Everything in life is about balance. Light, dark, day, night, plus and minus. Sometimes we need a bit of both in our life, and if we have too much of one, the balance can tip too much and can sometimes present an illness. There are tools that can help you to find your own balance so that you can do more of what makes you feel good. Most of my job involves helping people with medication and education around this. This can be a vital tool in recovery and staying well after a crisis, and I'm in no way saying that they don't have a place in certain conditions, but there are lifestyle, behaviours and habits that could impact on our health more than we realise. You don't have to be a scientist right now to see that there's a healthcare crisis going on worldwide. Instead of problem, reaction, solution, which seems to be the way that things are right now, prevention is the most sustainable way forward for the future of healthcare. We need to empower people and put the power of health back into our own hands. This is called an upstream approach. The access to this information should be available everywhere to everybody and not in complicated scientific databases.
My name is Fran. I am an extremely lazy person who enjoys sleeping way more than I should. I'm a great procrastinator who will do everything I can to get out of doing the washing up. I love watching football, I regularly colour to distress, and I want to learn to play an instrument, but I do not have a musical bone in my body. I'm an occupational therapist by profession and hope that throughout this podcast series I can help you to understand my job role and the importance of our own health and well-being. An occupational therapist is an allied healthcare professional, AHP for short. To sum it up briefly, an occupational therapist looks for ways to improve independence in occupations and well-being through occupation. Yeah, it's that simple, occupation. Occupation can mean anything from meaningful occupations such as hobbies and leisure activities, to domestic activities of daily living such as housework and chores, to personal activities of daily living such as personal hygiene, getting dressed and eating. Yeah, that's right, going to the toilet is an occupation. I bet you didn't know that. My area of expertise is in mental health, and occupational therapy and mental health has a strong focus on motivation, independence through routine and meaningful activity, and strategies to improve health and well-being depending on what mental health condition the individual has and their personal difficulties and circumstances. As humans, we need a purpose, motivation, and perseverance to participate in any activity you'll do in a day. There is 3 stages there that if one is lacking, our tasks may not get done and our level of routine or organisation that makes our own well-being tick over can drop quickly. Occupational therapy also has a focus in creating a good work-life balance. We all have to work right. It's just something that the majority of people have to do to survive. But what happens when we get overwhelmed by work or feeling like we are working too much and not having any time for ourselves and our interests? We can feel we have lost ourselves and lack meaning in what we do. But on the flip side, what impact does it have when you are not able to work or do not work and have all the time in the world? We can lose a sense of productivity and achievement, as well as losing social interaction. What happens when your children are consuming all your time and you are struggling to find the time for your own well-being? These are all problems that an occupational therapist will help you to solve. Through exploration of your mental health needs and lifestyle, occupational therapists help you to come up with strategies, tips and tricks you could call it, or routines tailored to you, or help you to identify meaningful activity to control your mood, for you to then take responsibility for your own well-being and use these strategies to help you.
This was a short introduction to us, our professions, and why we feel the need to share this information. We're all on this journey together and we can all learn from each other. We could all use some positivity right now. This podcast aims to discuss well-being, different mental health conditions, self-help skills, and meaningful activity. We're going to release an episode a week every Sunday at 11 a.m. UK time.
We hope you will be tuning in to listen and will enjoy the podcast's future episodes. Thank you.